China, COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc. Hospitals now under intense pressure as infections surge. Earlier this month, China moved away from its zero COVID policy after nearly 3 years. Now, the move coming after widespread protests against the continued restriction. However, coronavirus is now spreading and infecting millions of people a day. Countries like the United States are now considering entry restrictions for travelers from China, citing concerns expressed by the World Health Organization, as well as measures adopted by Japan, India, and Malaysia. Earlier, we spoke with Carice Witte. She's the founder and executive director of Signal, the Sino-Israeli global network and academic leadership.
The furnaces, unfortunately, in the crematoriums are working 24/7. There's not enough medication, including simple medicine like ibuprofen, to keep the fevers down. There are not enough respirators. There are not enough ICU beds. The overall healthcare system in China has been weak in general up until COVID hit. And although the government has put a lot of money into upgrading and expanding the medical services, it has a very, very long way to go to be able to handle a situation like this. So in general, you'll find that people will be sick. Many of our colleagues in China have told us their entire families have come down with it, but many of them are ill for a few days and generally recover. The vaccination level is low. The vaccination level among elderly people is extremely low because many of the elderly are afraid that the vaccination itself will cause death or at least complicate existing illnesses. In general, also, there's a problem in China with trust in locally made medications, vaccines, even food products. One of the reasons Tnuva was purchased was because of a scandal in baby food, which did not have the necessary proteins about a decade ago. And instead, material was added to fill the baby instead of the actual health needs, and many of the babies died. So you can see that overall, there's a lack of trust. And so trying to vaccinate the entire population before releasing COVID-0 might not have even worked. Right now, it looks like the risk of keeping COVID-0 was higher than the risk of the political risk of allowing the country to open up, the people to be free to go out, and then, of course, having this eventuality of hundreds of millions of people being sick and many, many people dying. In the immediate future, we do not see a prospect of political fallout, but it is difficult to assess what might happen down the road. However, we can be sure that the political echelons within China have decided that this is the safer bet for the country.